I would say late 2006. It's a very beautiful, beautiful skirt. I like this skirt actually. It's very pretty. And it's 55% linen, 45% cotton. It's like, it's not a skirt that I go for a lot anymore, just because I'm more of a, I don't know, like in general, like when I buy new clothes in the future, I'm buying dresses. I just am. And I have a particular length. I like dresses that are knee length and longer. That's just my preference. But it's still a very nice skirt. And I know what they say about how linen and cotton clothing just lasts so much longer. Not that I wear this skirt every day. But yes, this skirt has held up. And I've had it for like 19 years. It's a very beautiful skirt, though. I would say, like, it's a casual skirt, but I do like it. So that just goes to show that if you have clothing that you don't wear every day, sometimes you should just bring it back out. Yeah, think about it. I'm all about revisiting clothing I haven't worn for a while. And I'm wearing my Lady Dog shirt that I made on Zazzle many years ago. I just don't wear t-shirts every day. I'm not a big t-shirt, like they're cute and all, but it's just not something that I love to wear every day anymore. And some people probably don't get it, but I don't know. It's just, my preference over time is I was really into making a lot of cute, like, artistic t-shirts. And they're still on Zazzle, but pretty much to sell t-shirts, you have to, I feel like you have to have a large volume of images that you want to create and do print on demand. And then I feel like with Zazzle nowadays, I'm like, I haven't logged into Zazzle in a few months, but I'm wondering, like, what are their takes on AI? I need to start learning about this, but a lot of people really hate AI. I don't entirely hate AI, and I have my reasons for it. First off, like, of course, I want to watch movies with real people in them. And of course, AI characters, they look kind of weird. Okay, but this is where I kind of like AI. AI, for me, I don't need AI imagery because it just looks a little wonky. And I'm sure musicians feel the same way about AI music as what I do about the imagery. But sometimes I like to create a song with AI because I'm not a musician. And for some reason in content, they always specify that you have to have music, which I never understood why, like, why content, why, I think that's even the short form content, which to me, I feel like I need to start driving more nature sounds for my content. I really should. But it's just like people like music with content for some reason. Like, that's a big thing, a big pull, I suppose. Some lotion on my hands so that I can start brushing out my hair. Because I like my hands to be super hydrated before I start brushing my hair. And some people are like, oh no, but you might get the lotion on your hair. Honestly, I don't care. Because back in the days, sometimes if I was in a bind and I just wanted to smooth my hair down, I just put some lotion on my hands and I would wipe it on top of my hair. It works well, and they have similar ingredients, so I'm not one of these people that's like, oh my gosh, heaven forbid, because guess what I'm doing? I ran out of my favorite Turkish detangling spray from the Dollar Tree. That thing has become like my new all-time favorite. I should have bought more of it. It's basically, I think it's just a dupe for like the Johnson & Johnson detangler, but this stuff is great. But they didn't have it at our local Dollar Tree yesterday. And I was very sad again. I'm like, I want that detangling spray. But I decided to kind of just keep watering down the ones I do have and using them up. Because I do have this leave-in conditioner by PowerScoop, which has some coconut oil and shea butter in it in a liquefied format. And I decided to kind of make my own yesterday. Like, I have watered down this detangling spray so much. So I added mostly water. And then I took some of my, finally, because it's summer, and finally my coconut oil Manoi de Tahiti. I mean, it's still very, it doesn't look clear. It's not hot enough in here for it to be super clear, but I added a little bit of it. And I might just add another drop of it, because I feel like this stuff, coconut oil is good for your hair. So I've just been kind of experimenting with making my own detangling sprays. Like, well, just using up what I have. And this one still smells like Manoi. So I'm going to add a little bit more oil in there. Not a lot. Maybe a touch more. Let's see. That's good. And then put the cap back on this. So basically, I'm just taking my old, because I do like the nozzle on this Turkish detangling spray. And I do love this oil. But I'm finding that, like, since I love water to kind of comb out and detangle my hair, with my, I love to use water just because it gives you that slip that you're looking for. Okay, so now I have my detangling spray, and let's spray some on your skin and see. It has like a little bit of a coconut oil smell to it. And I just love the detangling spray because it gets some water into your hair to help with the brushing process, which for me is essential because I want that slip in my hair. Pull some aside right here. Maybe spray a little bit more to the bottoms of your hair. Then take your brush. Let's rinse our brush out first though. Start combing our hair. Stop. Let's just start combing out our hair. And then we're going to do another section. Spray some more. That's good. Hi. Yes, I'm having a nice day, thank you. And I kind of like to go slow into brushing my hair. Like, I really always want to take my time. Like, sometimes I feel like if I don't leave enough time to brush my hair in the morning, I don't like that. Like, I feel like you really need to just take your time with hair brushing. I know, like, everybody wants to rush at everything and we live in rush culture, but I'm like, I'd rather get up a couple hours early to do things and have time to brush. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. A lot of people don't like to gently brush their hair, but for me, I feel like it promotes hair growth. Because they always talk about scalp massages and all these like little things you have to do, but I feel like just you can naturally get a scalp massage by just gently brushing your hair, because you slowly work your way to the top. It's the same idea, just in a gentler format, in my opinion. You know? And when you work out your hair and you brush it out, it just feels so nice. It feels really, it just feels good, you know? I love brushing my hair. It makes me happy. It's very much for me. I just feel like my hair is happier and more put together when I have time to brush it out. Not that you, like, if you have wavy hair, a lot of people with wavy hair don't want to brush their hair. It's just not their thing. I have wavy hair and I love brushing my hair. I just like it, you know. I love to brush my hair. As a wavy hair person, that is my preference. Spritz at the bottom. Thank you. This is how the third act of your life should be. This is my thought. Without agenda, without overt politicization, where human beings are human beings. All human beings have validity. All human beings are valid. This is my truth. I believe in humanity and kindness. Yeah. And that will always be my stance. I know, like, right now, a lot of people are into division, and they're letting our leadership promote that division, but that will never be my grape jelly ham, and I will never be about that. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, Schmidt. Not for it. I just wish we could live in a gentler world, but you have a lot of people that like the rough and tumbleness of the world and just mean-spiritedness of the world. So this is why people get their introvert on. This is why introverted life just is more appealing to a lot of us, because nobody wants to be like in a social group where people are promoting mean-spirited things. I would rather just go on a walk and look at the trees. People are always talking about socialization. It's so important. Like, they criticize somebody that might do a study abroad program with their, like, look, traditional homeschooling, in my opinion, might not. I need some more, something else to drink. Like, I can see why traditional homeschooling might have a lot of limitations. But I saw this family on TikTok, and I thought what they were doing was so cool. They were in Breezy, Georgia. Like, you don't hear a lot of people like going to stay or visit in Georgia, although Georgia looks like a really interesting country to visit. And I don't know, there maybe because it's not as popular they went there, or maybe they have some connection. Like, the video didn't say why, but people were criticizing the mom in the comments, like, oh, putting your son in homeschool and making him do his classes online. And I'm like, have you guys forgotten 2020? In 2020, everybody was doing school online. It's like people forgot 5 years ago we were all doing that. Right? And I actually think that was a good thing. I think, and this is one thing I don't understand, like, about some conservatives, that they hate people working from home. Like, there are literally some people that follow Trump, and they get mad at people doing school online or school from home and traveling. Like, why is that a bad thing? Or maybe even some liberal people, I don't know, but it just was weird that they were telling this mom that she wasn't socializing her kids correctly by not having them in American school. And I'm like, I remember, like, okay, I went to public schools. In general, overall, public school was great, but it wasn't because of the kids, okay? I was an introverted kid, and introverted people do not, and I don't think this makes you less social, because I'm going to tell you something about American social culture. Up until people started using smartphones, it's kind of like a lot of bully culture is promoted in school. And that's why I speak out about it online, because I see that some people in our current environment are leaning into bully. And that's not okay. It's not okay to, like, create divisions or tell people how to live their life. Like, you should, this is my thought. And this is a new thought process that people could apply. When you come, like, if you're online and you're choosing to interact with other people's content, maybe you should start having an open mind. Rather than telling other people that they're not doing something right, that they should do something the other way, maybe you should keep an open mind and ask yourself, like, why do they live that way? I'm not talking about your local influencer who's going to do, like, fake time content because, you know, they just want the views and whatnot. But like this family living in Tabrizi, Georgia, like homeschooling their kids, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, her kids can learn a bit of Georgian. And the cool thing, this was the cool thing I thought, they were learning how to take public transportation, because a lot of people in the U.S. think that Americans don't take. Well, that's nice. So a lot of people think that people in the U.S. never take public transportation, but I take the bus all the time. On my other channel, I'm thinking about doing more pedestrian content, although I have over the years. I just haven't really made like a definitive pedestrian video. Although I do prefer to walk over the bus, I think if you have a family, public transportation is great. So I thought it was really cool because this family was showing how they would walk, like it took like an hour and a half to walk to the location to buy groceries, and they went to a local market, and then they went to a grocery store, and then they did it all again, and they would come home and clean and cook everything. And somebody's like, oh my gosh, you gotta give those kids a break, a day off. And I'm like, what is wrong with walking? There's nothing wrong with walking. I think our current culture, because even growing up when I was a kid in the San Bernardino Mountains, I walked all the time. I used to walk to and from the bus stop. And when I was in middle school, you had to get up in the morning and walk yourself to school because it was a mile walk. There was no bus coming, okay? It's such a little walk. But it is up and down mountain hills. It was not flat. It was not a flat walk. Like, you had to go up and down. But when you're used to living in the San Bernardino Mountains, going up and down a hill is no biggie. No biggie at all. But, like, they were criticizing this lady for walking and taking public transportation to go shopping, and her kids were walking, and I'm like, this is actually good stuff. Like, they're learning how to go to market, and they're gonna learn the local language and many different things. But people kept telling her, oh, you're not socializing your kids correctly. And I'm thinking, okay, have you seen the way, like, it was like this before COVID, but after COVID, the way people socialize is not always the best. It includes a phone and just not really acknowledging people. And that's not really socialization, in my opinion. Okay, I'm glad that you're happy. So, but here's the thing, like, okay, I feel like you should be looking up and looking people in the eye, and this is a big social thing. Like, your phone should be stowed away in your bag. Like, you need to have it, like, even though I do lives, when I go out in the world, you need to have an upper limit on your phone. Like, I feel like phone time should be when you're away from people, like, especially if you're going to take a phone call, you need to go out of the building. This is how it used to be. Like, you need to exit a building, and your phone should not be on speaker. Like, unless you're in your car, or unless you're somewhere way out in the park, away from people, your phone should not be on speaker. But I've been noticing nowadays, like, people are putting their phone on speaker, and then the noise coming out of their phone is like 20 times louder than just people having a regular conversation. So I think it's good in general to limit, like, texting in front of people, and to limit scrolling in front of people. Like, even though I do those things, I have extreme upper limits on them. Like, I don't do them in front of people because I feel like when I'm around people, even though I'm an introverted person, I just don't think it's polite. Like, when you're out in public around people, put your phone down. And also when people are going to be like, oh, but this is how I interact with people. I'm not, like, talking about on the bus. You could text or scroll on the bus. But, like, if you're having a transaction or interaction with people, I just think having your phone out, it signifies that you just aren't really interested in interacting with people at all. So I feel like it's kind of funny that people were criticizing this mom for doing homeschool with her child from Tabrizi. They're not from there. They went to Tabrizi. What's wrong with that? Like, they're learning the local language. They're learning how to use public transit, not only like in other countries, which means they're gonna have to use Google Translate, and it's pretty cool. I thought her content was pretty cool, and it was so much better than, even if she was selling something, I don't care, but like a lot of people there are just always like selling something, and I thought her story was really interesting, and I have no problem with people homeschooling their kids. That's never been a problem for me. I just think where it could be a problem is if you don't expose your kids to other things. Like, if you're just at home and you don't do like, but I think that's kind of changed with a lot of online school options. Because actually, my niece finished her high school before the pandemic. She finished all her high school curriculum online in 2019, I believe. I think that's when my niece finished. I think she graduated a little bit early, actually. Or maybe not, because I'm trying to think. My nephew's 26. So he graduated in 2017. I think she graduated right on time. I don't know. That's what it seems like, but yeah, I don't know. She did online learning. But so it's not bad. And even if you do homeschool, but I feel like you do need to have a good curriculum and you need to take your kids out. And I feel like people who travel, like, what's wrong with that? Well, they get an opportunity to travel and see the world. And some people are like, oh, but they're missing out on, like, socialization. I think maybe in American social culture, that's just so important or something. But, like, if you, let's say your dad was in the military, those kids travel around all the time. They're not at the same school. Or let's say you travel for any reason. Like, there are people who move around a lot. So this whole idea that you're always at the same school with the same group of kids, I don't really, like, even though I had good public school experiences, okay. But it was because of the teachers, not because of the kids. Like, I have a few friends that I still know from when I was in high school and middle school and elementary. But in general, those people, like, they're like, you need to socialize with those people. That's not an extremely diverse group of people, by the way. Like, unless you go to a very diverse school. But when I went to school, like, there wasn't a lot of diversity with the students. Actually, I was a little bit more diverse than they were because I'm part Syrian Lebanese and part English, which tells you how undiverse, like, when I went to school, there were a few, like, Hispanic kids, a few African American kids, but a lot of them were just, like, white. And they were not diverse, and they were not nice. And I think a lot of this has to do with my really bad, like, I'm not saying all white schools are like that, but, like, people saying, oh, you need to take your kids to the public school, and they need to be in public school. But I was bullied, like, by a few girls, mostly girls, sometimes boys, but mostly girls, and they weren't nice. So I don't see how this mom homeschooling her kids and traveling the world and teaching her kids like about another language and culture is a bad thing. Yeah, it's not. Some people just make things out to be a bad thing because they want to sensationalize something. But I'm like, if somebody wants to homeschool their kids, and the reason I actually, because my mom looked into this back in the 80s, and she didn't, and she found out later she could have homeschooled us, but when she went to ask, they said that it was illegal to homeschool kids in California in the 1980s, which is ridiculous, like, really? And then when you go to do it later, they'd be like, oh no, you can't do that. But then we started finding out, oh, there were charter schools, and then there's, like, public accredited online schools. So if you don't have a lot of money to put your kids in a private school, there are public schools that are online, especially since the pandemic. And that's what my niece did. Because I still believe in public education. I just don't think that public education is for everybody. I know some people want to do completely away with public education, and those people are just not cool. They're not cool. But school was not about the socialization for me. It was about the academics. Like, I never hear those people who talk about socialization, they never say, oh, you need to have your kids in public school because of the academics, which, by the way, if you are in public school, you have to augment your academics by a lot. You just do. That is why people put their kids in private school. Like, you have to do a lot of reading and writing on your own. And you don't even need tutors to do it. You just have to be very academically inclined and a DIY girly. That's why I feel like I didn't have tutors when I was in school. My mom helped me when I was little with my assignments, but after I don't know, a certain time, just like, you guys need to learn how to do your own research and do your school projects. And she would like proofread a paper I would do sometimes, but like we really became stewards of our own education, like I would say after 8th grade. Like she had a high expectation for us because my mom was very academically inclined. So we are DIY people, so like I would look up and learn how to do things before ChatGPT was a thing. So yeah, I don't know. So I don't have a problem. I don't see the problem with somebody like choosing alternative education. I do find it funny though that when 5 years ago people were doing that, now they're acting like it's so weird that somebody's doing school online or something. Like, it's good. You know, if you're online learning actual information instead of just like watching. Like, I'm not saying you can't engage in certain kinds of content, but I think when kids are younger, they need more academic content. They just do. And it's good for people of all ages, really, to have academic content, educational content. These are valuable things. Another thing I don't like, though, are people who diss other people's educational experiences because you don't know. You don't know if you're not in that school. Like, for instance, a lot of California schools, like distinguished ones, have rigorous, and I'm talking about rigorous educational qualifications. Like, there were elementary school kids in 2nd grade learning algebra, and there are like dual immersion language schools. So some of the people that hate on public schools, they don't know what they're talking about, okay? They don't know what they are talking about. Like, there are people that are having a more rigorous educational experience than what was on the American frontier. Like, some people are like, oh, on the American frontier, they expected more of those kids, but most people didn't go to school back then, okay? And there was a smaller percentage of people who actually made it all the way through to graduation. So don't fall for all the alt-right. Like, I'm not anti-public school. I'm just thinking public school is a good... I think we do need public institutions in school for people who want to put their kids in school. But then if people want to put their kids in another, like, format, that should be available too. Like, there should be variety. Like, people who want to do away with public school and on all social safety nets, they just aren't... They're not cool, and they don't really care about a good economy, because guess what's happening when you get rid of social safety nets? There are jobs that are created by social safety nets that make a robust economy. Okay, and why is the economy having more problems recently? It's because they're getting rid of social safety nets. And it's funny because people are like, oh, under a free market, pure, very, very linear and libertarian economy, the country would just have a better, like, economic future. But not really. Like, or even this weird conservative actualization. I think we were doing better economically a year ago. And that was under the administration that they all cried about. Because right now, it's not looking good economically. Okay? And yeah, some of it's because the corporations are using tariff and inflation as excuse to raise prices. But more of it is just because the people in charge want to, like, defund, and that doesn't give you freedom, by the way, because your taxpayer dollars have paid into it. What are they using that money for? Oh, to create some weird, like, deportation process, like, that's not ethical, that's being challenged by the courts. That's what they want to use the money for. Oh, more arms deals? Like, really? No. It should go into public schools, education, social security, all these things that we have taxpayers have all paid into. Because social safety nets in every sophisticated, gentrified country, they work. Like, if you want to live in a world, like, with no social safety nets, you should go live on an island. And I believe that at this point, because I tried for years to talk to people, to understand where they were coming from. And this was what I've seen at the end of the day. So many of the former libertarians told me that they voted for Trump. And they like him. But I used to remember how they were all like, oh, they were very much small government, and they didn't want the government intervening in your lives. Well, It looks like he's doing a lot of intervention, and he's spending money on different things than a Democratic administration or even previous Republican administrations spent money on. But the economy functioned better under everybody except for him. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, but whatever. You can't do anything about it. You can't change it. We're just like thinking, is this what you voted for? This is what you thought was the beautiful uniform? Okay. It's not limited government though. Like, the government has skyrocketed. You like, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense, friends. So, if you're ever a younger person who has like conservative people telling you that being liberal doesn't make sense and you should think about becoming a libertarian, and they have better ideas about how the government functions, and they believe in small government, and they just want the government to leave people alone. That's not what they want. What they want is, they do want an elimination of tax, but not for everybody. They're okay with regressive taxes. Like right now, I don't hear a lot of libertarians crying about tariffs or companies like raising prices sky high for you, because hey, profit. But it will have economic impact, and we're already seeing that with layoffs, cost of living going up. But people who, like, okay, so in 6 months, I don't want to hear any libertarian complain about the prices in the grocery stores, because you voted for the higher price. Because you voted to take, you voted for this less than stellar economy. It's what you wanted. If you voted for Trump, you don't like a rigorous, good economy. You don't want small government. You don't want the government to leave people alone. You actually are quite the opposite. You just wanted the government to leave you alone, because you felt that you had some economic capital that should be taxed, or you had a certain issue that you just didn't want them to bother you with. So if they leave you alone, yeah, they're small government. But if they start messing in every other person's life, they're great. Make that make sense? It makes no sense. But politics right now are off the rails. It's not healthy. U.S. politics have gone. We need a new president, friends. 3.5 years cannot come fast enough. We need a new administration. We just need better leaders. That's it. But I don't define my life by politics, because some people get really wrapped up in it. I'm just glad that I was able to see how hypocritical the whole libertarian thing was. Except for maybe there's some true libertarians. I don't think libertarianism works, period, honestly. But some of the true, like, libertarians, they never would have voted for Trump. Like, they wouldn't vote for a Democrat either. Like, they would vote for, like, the third party person. And they wouldn't support some mass deportation of people, where a lot of these people just came here to do jobs that a lot of Americans wouldn't do, that are not living some high off the hog life, who are actually paying taxes into the U.S. economy. But it is what it is. Who actually came here under the consent of corporations that want to hire them to pay them less, to do jobs that many Americans wouldn't do. I don't know. It's a convoluted thing. It really is. But the only satisfaction that I can have during these years is like, if you like are praising Trump up and down the street, like, do you have a belief in God? Because Trump is not God. And he's the president, and he should be held responsible to the American people, and all American people, not just his, like, whatever he believes for the day, or whatever AI told him. Yeah, whatever. It's ridiculous. It really is. Like, a lot of it. But hey, I said I wasn't going to think about it as much anymore. It is what it is. I wouldn't give a lot of credence to politics, period. Like, I would still vote and learn about the issues, but yeah, don't spend too much of your life on it, because it's dysfunctional AF right now. Well, in the U.S. anyway. Maybe other countries are having better political times, but right now, a lot of us Americans, we're just like, what is this? Like, we don't agree with it. We don't like where it's going, but it's dysfunctional AF. And that's it. Thanks for watching.